Hi everyone. A lot of students have been requesting us, or I would say that they have been asking us that, sir, please make a video on how should we keep the momentum going for the IPMAT Indore, IPMAT Rohtak and JIPMAT preparation. Now, since the pre-boards and prelims have started, how should we go about it? So this session is for all of you who have been asking us, requesting us to make a video on how to balance the IPM BBA preparation along with your board preparation. But before that, one thing that you need to keep in mind is that your college and school grades, your board exam marks are going to matter a lot. So don't compromise on that. That is one thing that will remain on your CV throughout your life. Whether you get into your dream college or whether you get into one of the IIMs after doing your graduation, or if you want to go abroad and do your MBA from some of the reputed institute globally, 12th grade marks are going to there with you throughout your life. So don't compromise on that. But at the same time, your dream of getting into one of the IIM, you should not compromise on that also. So for that, what we are suggesting is that 75% of the time should be given for 12th board preparation. 15% of the time you give for the IPMAT preparation, and 10% you have leisure, or do some kind of maybe get involved in a hobby or something else that you like to do, singing or dancing or anything else. Don't overdo something. Don't study 18 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours a day. Don't do that. That's not required. Okay, maybe for half an hour or something, if you want to watch some reels on Instagram, absolutely do that. You need to keep yourself free. That is something, that's basic. Keep yourself free. Don't overdo anything. Okay, so that's what the breakup is. That is what you should be doing it. Okay, now before we move on to how you should be doing it, and at the end I'll also tell you what you should be doing in the month of November, December, Jan Feb, and post your board examination. That's the last slide. But before that, how you should be balancing your preparation in the next couple of months. So I'm sure everyone want to do good in the 12th exam, as well as would want to excel in the entrance test and get into the IIM Indore, right? You'd want to get into IIM Indore, or maybe any other dream college that you would want to get in without compromising on your 12th board marks, correct? Now, when it comes to creating a structured study plan, you need to evaluate your current schedule. That's very important. Okay, need to evaluate whether you have a free time, how much free time you have a free period in your school, or you have some free time if your schools and college is over, you have some free time in between, whether you have a half an hour in the morning and then 1 hour in the evening. When is that free time? You have to identify that free time, free gaps, you can say that, and allocate that time for your IPMAT preparation. Okay, so for some of you, you will have maybe 1 hour the entire day. For some of you, you will have 2-3 hours entire day free. You can say that you can dedicate 2-3 hours to IPMAT in the preparation. Absolutely fine. Okay, even if you say that, sir, I'll have only half an hour to 1 hour, I am fine. If you say that I'll have 2 hours on alternate days, absolutely fine. It's you who will have to decide how much free time you have on the plate. Okay, but make sure that you make use of that free time effectively. Then it's very important to have a goal. You need to have that academic goals in mind, and should define the specific goal, that what do you want to do in that free time, and do not have a vague or intangible goal. Okay, have that measurable, something which is tangible, and make a weekly schedule. Making a weekly schedule is very, very crucial, is very, very important. And you need to ensure that you are following a weekly schedule. I am not saying that make a monthly schedule. Monthly schedule is, you don't have time right now to make a monthly schedule, because you don't know what is going to happen 15 days down the line. Had it been 1 year back, we would have made monthly schedule and we would have broken that into weekly schedule. Okay, but right now at least you can have that benchmark, that in this 1 week I will do this XYZ chapter, and make sure that you complete those XYZ chapter is very, very important. Just don't क्या बोलते हैं कि don't over plan or don't under plan. Don't do too many things, or don't plan very less, so that you are not juggling between your, to manage your time between your 12th board and your IPM preparation. Have that fixed goal, and which can be done easily. Then you need to ensure that you are focusing on quant as well as verbal. If you're targeting also IPMAT, Rohtang and JIPMAT, then also the LRDI section is something which is very important that you should be focusing on. You need to ensure that if let's say you are a good verbal ability candidate, your English is good, maybe out of 5 hours in a week, 1 hour for verbal, 2 hour for quant, and 2 hour for LRDI. Similarly, let's say if you are good at quant, okay, then maybe you will spend 2 hours in verbal, 2 hours on LRDI, and 1 hour on quant. So similarly, depending upon your strength and your weaknesses, you will juggle that days. How much time do you want to spend on quant, how much time do you want to spend on LRDI, how much time do you want to spend on verbal. But make sure that you don't fall into a trap of doing only and only maths, because IPMAT Indore mein maths difficult hota hai. You also need to ensure that you are clearing the verbal cutoff, because though the verbal is not very difficult for IPMAT Indore, but the cutoff goes really very high, right? I mean, last year the cutoff was 113 marks. Before that it was 125. A year before that it was 112 marks. So out of 180 marks, getting 120 is roughly around 2/3 of the marks, 66.67%. The cutoff goes very high as compared to the quant section, correct? And hence, spending time revising verbal, practicing verbal, being in touch is also very important. Now, how to allocate the time among different subjects. In my last video, I had mentioned how to, make that diagram, chart diagram, where we have quadrants, first, second, third, fourth quadrant, and we say that, you identify which chapter are, in your weak zone, which chapters are in your strength zone. Basically, we're talking about the SWOT analysis that we did in my previous video. So you identify what are your weak subjects and what are your strong subjects. Don't only and only overdo weak subjects. So rather, we would suggest that in the month of November, December, maybe you will have slightly more time as compared to Jan and Feb. So maybe in the month of November and December, take 2 week chapters, 2 or 3 week chapters, depending upon the time that you have, and try to make sure that those chapters are, you have now moved them into your comfort zone. Maybe in the month of Jan, and maybe if you want to study in the month of Feb, maybe strong subjects, strong chapters, maybe half an hour of 10 question, 15 question, half an hour practice in the month of Jan and Feb, so that you are not out of touch. Being in touch is very important for your IPMAT Indore preparation. Okay, so that's why I'm saying even in the month of Jan Feb, if you have half an hour, 1 hour on a daily basis, I'm sure half an hour to tum time spend कर ही पाओगे, depending you have your 12th board, but पूरे दिन में 12th बोर्ड की पढ़ाई नहीं होती है, राइट? तो थोड़ा if you want to be freshen, if you want to fresh up, if you want to deviate from your regular studies, half an hour, 10-15 questions of quant or 10-15 questions of verbal of IPMAT Indore preparation, I think that should be, I think that you can easily manage, right? Yeah. Also, apart from that, I'm sure you know that there are few topics which are, important for your 12th board, as well as it is important for the IPMAT Indore preparation, correct? Now, those are the integrated topics which are of high IPMAT relevance and high board relevance. So, you need to ensure that you are focusing on those. For example, if I talk about chapters like matrices determinant, if I talk about progression, series and sequences, if I talk about functions, inequality graphs, which are there if you are a math student, then you are doing them for your 12th board as well, correct? So those chapters are anyways taken care of. You are practicing them when you are practicing your board exam, correct? Now you will spend very less time on subjects which are, let's say, not relevant to your 12th board. For example, LRDI is not very relevant. Maths is relevant, so I'll spend time there. LRDI, I'll probably spend very less time. Okay, so that is how you need to evaluate what are the chapters which are there in your 12th board, out of which how many topics are relevant for IPMAT Indore preparation, and the topics which are there in IPMAT Indore syllabus but not there in 12th board, maybe you can start focusing on them slightly, slowly and gradually, so that everything gets covered in next 3 to 4 months. Okay. Now, so you need to have this proper roadmap. That's what we are talking about, creating a weekly schedule. And the most important thing is, see, a lot of times students make the schedule, but then they don't stick to it. That's what I have been saying since the beginning, that make a realistic schedule and ensure that you are following them. That's very important. Correct? So you need to have a proper roadmap, like what is going to be my daily routine. I am going to wake up at this time. Let's say I wake up at morning 7, then 7 to 9 I'm going to study XYZ subject for my 12th board. You need to have that daily routine fit. And I am going to study for IPMAT preparation, let's say in the afternoon 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, and then maybe half an hour in the evening I'll focus on vocabulary, I'll focus on grammar. So you need to have that defined routine, and you need to define that study slot, that this is where I'm going to study for my 12, this is where I'm going to study for my IPMAT Indore preparation, and this is where I'm going to focus on my leisure activity. Okay, so ensure that you have that fixed study plan, routine set. Also, your 12th board preparation should happen at the time when you're going to write your 12th board. Okay, and your IPMAT Indore preparation should also happen at the same time when you're going to write IPMAT Indore exam. So for example, IPMAT Indore is going to be conducted from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So ensure that you are studying for IPMAT Indore in that time slot of 2 to 4, maybe 1 hour, 2 to 3 or 3 to 4, whatever you find comfortable. What will happen? You will get used to studying, you will get used to solving in that time frame for that particular exam. So if you're writing any prelims or if you're writing any pre-boards, let's say your exam is going to be conducted in the morning. Let's say it's going to be 10 o'clock. So ensure that you write your prelims or pre-board at 10 o'clock. You start your prelims or pre-board at 10 o'clock so that your mind is set to write any exam at 10 o'clock. Okay. Moving on. Now this is my favorite. Basically, we call it as a Pomodoro technique. Do you start studying? Study for 25 minutes. Okay. Study for 25 minutes without any nuisance around you, without you are full con. Study for 25 minutes. No break, no mobile, nothing. Take 5-minute break. Go and drink water. Okay, if you want to check some important messages, if you can't stay without your mobile, without checking, then maybe you can do that. Otherwise you can avoid. If you want to take a water break, or if you want to go to washroom or a loo break, you can take that 5-minute break, relax, come back and study again for 25 minutes and repeat the cycle. Basically, this is the Pomodoro technique which has been proven by the scientists. Okay, it increased in the focus and the retention quality. Okay, rather than sitting for 2 hours at a stretch and studying, study in a short of 25 minutes. That will help you a lot. Okay, this is something which will benefit a lot of you who are preparing for 12th board and IPMAT preparation at the same time, especially for the 12th student. This is going, because now is the time, I am sure a lot of you will be studying for 12 to 15 hours a day. The serious aspirant will definitely study 12 to 15 hours a day. Rather than studying 2-3 hours, study in a span of 25 minutes, take 5-minute break. That's how you plan it. Okay. Now, so as we discussed about, your mobile notification, everything, I'm sure you can turn it off while you're studying. You don't need to be uh, checking your mobiles every now and then. I said in the earlier slide that 25 minutes ke baad you check your notification. I mean, is it really required? I don't think you are going to lose something if you're not going to check your phone for 2 hours or 3 hours, right? Uh, Find a quiet place, very important, okay, where there is hardly any noise, so that you don't use noise cancellation headphones and everything, because you are having headphones in your ear, and that basically your mind get you get distracted. There's something there on your head, you are using headphones, something is there, so don't use that. I mean, if you don't have a quiet place, then maybe this is the worst thing that you can have, right? And organize study material. Okay, so these are a couple of things that will help you in managing your time effectively. Now, the ultimate plan that we were talking about, what you should be doing in the month of November, December, and Jan Feb and post board. So in the month of November to December, 1 to 1.5 hours daily study, I am sure you should be able to do it. Yeah. Work on weak areas, as I mentioned earlier as well. You should focus and work on your weak areas. Correct? Book a my plan, which is a mentoring session, which will help you to strategize your preparation. I am sure a lot of you would have written sim test, analyze that, and then based on the analysis, speak to your mentor how to go about in next 1.5 2 months. So this is what your plan should be in the month of November. Now we move to Jan and Feb. Study of maybe 30 minutes to 60 minutes, an hour of study on an average daily. I think that should be enough. I am sure इतना तो हो सकता है. 30 minutes तो हो ही सकता है. Though I have written 1 hour, if more the merrier. I always keep on saying more the merrier. Now from Jan and Feb, I would suggest that because we are spending 30 minutes to 1 hour, focus on your strength, focus on your strong areas. 30 minutes ahead, take 10 questions, solve those 10 questions quickly and see how many of you are able to get it correct. At least you will be in touch, at least, after your board exam gets over in the month of March. So if you're not doing anything in Jan and Feb, you will be out of touch for 2.5 months, right? So at least do something. In the month of Jan, at least you should be doing something. And the post board, now this is the, you should work on the fourth gear. You will attend your master classes, the revision workshops. You should be writing at least 2 sim tests per week. More the merrier. If you are prepared, maybe 3 sim tests every alternate day, 1 sim test, and closer to the exam, maybe 3 or 4, 5 sim tests every day, 1 test. That is what is you can be writing. Before, I have written here a sim test. Make sure that you don't write the next sim test before you have analyzed it. And how to analyze it, we have a video on YouTube. Please go and watch them out. Book a my plan to analyze the sim test. After the board exam gets over, you need to ensure that you write 2 or 3 tests to check where do you stand and how much effort you need to put in. And for that, again, you will have to meet your mentor. Now, in general, to summarize everything, align to your daily routine, fix the daily routine, make that daily scheduled. Prioritize daily activities to make a study time. Ki what you're supposed to do at 7 to 9, then 10 o'clock to 12:30, then have a lunch. So have that daily activity plan ready for yourself. Set a realistic target. This is very, very important. A lot of students fail. Okay, a lot of students fail not literally in exam, but a lot of students fail to not score good marks because they don't set a realistic target. Okay, they say that I'll complete my transcendent determinant today. It doesn't work like that. You need to evaluate your strength and weakness, whether you will be able to do it or not. Your friend might, maybe, you may not, right? And hence set a realistic target. Balance the preparation between QA, VA and LRDI. That's what we said. You need to have that balance between all the 3 sections while your preparation. Balance the theory, class exercise and practice exercise. Just don't keep on solving practice exercise. What happens is at times, if you don't revise theory, there are chances that you might forget one of the silliest formula that you would have ever learned few months back. Okay. So for example, if I ask someone, the relation between the median and the sides of the triangle, you would have studied some time back. Okay, maybe you will not be able to remember right now on the day of exam, and you lose those easy cakewalk marks. And hence you need to balance the theory, class exercise and the practice exercise as you keep on going. Keep time for informal learning. There are a lot of things that you will learn through activities like playing sudokus or maybe reading books, reading articles. These are informal learnings. Okay, help you to improve your reasoning, right? So this is something, this was the gist of everything that we have discussed about. Now, just to remind everyone, when you go to your IMS portal, you will find a My Plan session here, and make sure that you book a mentoring session in the month of November itself. That will help you a lot to strategize, and more importantly, that will help you to talk to your mentor and keep yourself motivated. This is a time where you should be motivated to prepare for IPMAT Indore along with your 12th board. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I am sure this session was really helpful. See you soon with another interesting session that you would demand. So comment in the comment section which topic you want to be video on, and we'll make sure that we'll come up with that video. Bye bye.